Hi, this is Simon Candy from AcousticGuitarLessonsOnline.net, and in today's video you're going to learn how to play banjo rolls on guitar. The banjo roll technique is not something exclusive to the banjo. It can be used on the guitar to great effect, and greats such as Chet Atkins, Jerry Reed and Tommy Emmanuel have used the banjo roll technique in their playing regularly. In this lesson you're going to learn both the forward banjo roll and the backward banjo roll. I'll break each one down for you in great detail so that you can not only play them but understand them. And a key component to the banjo roll is the rhythm. It's a little bit of a tricky rhythm to begin with, but I'll show you some very effective strategies for getting the rhythm down correctly, and then we'll apply these banjo rolls, both the forward and backward rolls, to some chord progressions so you can see how you can do the same with your own playing. So let's get to it. So let's look at the two patterns we're going to use in today's video, the forward roll and the banjo roll, and we'll just do these on muted strings, or you could do them on open strings. Maybe we'll just go with open strings here. Okay, so we're going to be plucking. The forward roll moves forward. Okay, so we're going to play it on string sets 4, 3, 2. And you can use your thumb, index, middle fingers, and that's typically what people use for banjo rolls for the most part. Thumb, index, middle, one after the other. Or you could use thumb, index, ring finger. As long as your thumb hits the first of each three groupings, you can use any combination really of the three fingers. All we're going to do, let's forget the rhythm for a moment, and we're just simply going to pluck the fourth string open with the thumb. Index plays the second string, or the third string rather, second string of the pattern, but the third string of your guitar, and the middle or the ring finger here could play the second string. So we just get those three notes, right? And we repeat them over and over. That's the pattern, right? Just over and over, and it's moving, it's ascending, it's a forward movement, okay? Forward banjo roll. But here's the really important part. Even though the cycle is 3, the rhythm is 2. We're playing 8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the nature of a 3 against 2 rhythm, as we call this, is that when you first play that group of 3, you start on the on beat. 1, right? And then you've got and 2. 1 and 2. So when you go to repeat the 3 again, you're now starting it on the and of 2 on an offbeat. And 3 and. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then you're back on the beat again, 4. But it's the fourth beat. When you've got the thumb playing at the start of the cycle each time, the first time it plays it's on the beat. Then it's off. Then it's on, then it's off, okay? So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I stopped on 3 that time. The full cycle is a 2-bar cycle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. What people get stuck with, or mistakenly do here, is they sort of play it like a triplet. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. It's not the correct feel, right? It's doing it like that. Every time the thumb hits, it's on the beat. But we don't want that. We want the 3 against 2 feel. So one way to get the rhythm of this, the correct groove, is to accent the thumb on the first of each 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Keep forgetting those last couple there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you got this sort of bounce, this 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. Instead of just playing on the beat all the time, where it just feels like it's always hitting on the floor, you've got those ups there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I think I did that one incorrectly, but you get the drift, right? Or you could accent the highest note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You just start to get the shape of it better. Okay. The other thing is to use a metronome. Okay, probably the best way. And so I'm just going to grab the metronome up here on my phone, And I'm going to get that playing. Right, so hopefully you can hear the click there. And so, as I said, a lot of people tend to sort of go like this. That would be playing 3 to each beat. That's not what we want. We want this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then the cycle starts again. You finish on the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you really want to get that 3 against 2 feel with the forward banjo roll. And it's the same for the backward banjo roll. So the backward banjo roll is very, very similar. Same feel, 3 against 2. All you're doing is you're playing the thumb, then you're going to play the 4th string, then you're going to play the 2nd string to the 3rd string. You're coming backward. Still start with the lowest note, then you come and descend. In this case, with our particular roll on the string sets 4, 3, 2, we are playing the 2nd string first, then the 3rd, instead of the other way around. So this one sounds 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and again, you know, that bounce da, 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 with the thumb. Da, da. That's the feel with the thumb, and if the more you do it with the metronome, the better you will get this. So I really, really, really recommend you use a metronome for doing this. Let me demonstrate that with the backward roll here. So it would sound like this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and the forward one, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so let's put these banjo rolls into action here. So I'm going to take the forward roll first, and I'm going to apply it to a simple 1-4-5 progression in G major. So the chord progression will be G for a bar, to actually G for 2 bars, to C for 2 bars, back to G for 2, then to D for 2. It's going to come back to G for 2, C for 2, then G for 1, D for 1, back to G. That's going to be our chord progression, just standard 1-4-5. And we're going to use little chord fragments here. For the G, I'm just simply going to use open strings, 4-3-2. That's a G chord with a D in the bass. For the C, I'll use this little C fragment with an E in the bass. First inversion C there, it was the second inversion G. And D major open chord in root position, but I'm not going to use the top string because we're just playing this little forward roll on strings 4-3-2 as we did on the open strings. So this would simply on the G chord, 2 bar cycle, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now the C chord comes up into progression, so we go to our little C inversion and repeat the forward roll. Then back to G. And then we just apply it to the D. Right, so each time we're just playing 2 cycles, well 1 cycle of the pattern, but it's a 2 bar cycle, so we're on each chord for 2 bars. So it was G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, back to G, and D. Then we're going to return to the G, and we repeat back to the C. Now, we've got 1 bar on each of the chords of G and D here, but a 2 bar cycle. So we'll just take the first bar of the cycle for each chord. So G, D, and then back to G for the cycle of the progression. Okay, so let me play it through so you can hear it. the same progression just a little bit faster. And let's look at the backward banjo roll here across the same chord progression, but we will use some different chord voice-ins. So let me just take you through the voice-ins. Same chord progression, but we're going to use a little root position triad for G in the first part of the progression, a second inversion C major triad for the C chord. We come back to the G with the same triad shape. Then we're going to play a little fragment of a D7 chord here in the third position. So you can hear how all those shapes, obviously smooth because they're all in the same position. So common notes and closely connected notes there. Then when we go through the progression the second time, we'll move up to first inversion G, root position C, back to first inversion G, a little D7 fragment again, and finishing on the G. So let's apply the backward banjo roll here. So when we're on the G, so remember backward is just simply playing the fourth string with the thumb, then the second to third string coming down instead of going up. Okay, so backward as opposed to forward. So we're on the G, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we simply bar to create this C triad and apply the same 2-bar pattern. Back to the G, and then our D7 fragment. Okay, then when we repeat, we go up to the first inversion G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then here, similar to the first time, but a touch different, we're going to do the first bar of each for each of these two chords, because we've only got a single bar on each, like the first progression with the forward roll. But we're going to simplify it a touch further. On the G, 2 and 3 and 4. We won't do the and of 4. We'll just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the same on D7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, back to a full cycle on the G rather. The reason is it gives you just a little bit more time to make the shift down and back. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, keeping that 3 against 2 all the way. So let me play it nice and slowly as a whole so you can hear how that sounds with the backward roll. So we've got G to the C, G, and the D7, and we move up to the C, G, so here it is, just a little bit more up tempo. So this last example is a little bit different. It's going to be a different chord progression. So the chord progression is going to be E7. It's going to go to A7, it's going to go to D7, and it's going to go to G. Okay, but we're going to use little fragments again. So for the E7 rather, we're going to use this little fragment up here in the 7th position. For the A7, we're going to use this little fragment of an A7th chord in the 6th position. Then we use the same shape we have for E7, only for D7, 2 frets lower, and then a little first inversion G, same shape we were using in the previous example for the G chord. Now the other thing that's different here is when we'll do the forward banjo roll here. So we're going to play strings 4, 3, 2, then we're going to play 4, 3, open. So it's still the same feel, 3 against 2, it's still the same order of the fingers, only we're going to alternate from plucking 4, 3, 2, the strings, to 4, 3, 1. And when we hit the top string, it's going to be an open. So we get this. Okay, Okay, and a lot of the time banjo rolls do involve open strings. So you get the same feel, 3 against 2, same pattern in the fingers, only you're alternating this with that across the two bar cycle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we drop to the A7 and do exactly the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then to the D7, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up to the G. Okay, it's as simple as that. Nothing's different in terms of anything other than just alternating the string sets. So when we put that together, to A7, D7, right, a little bit quicker. So a cool sound, and we could also do the backward roll with this as well. It'll just simply be, so you'd be doing 4, 2, 3, then 4, open 3. That'd be the alternate triplet, not triplet as in the fill, but the 3 notes. So you got 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. And then same on A7. D7 and G. Okay, just a little more up tempo. If you like this video, you'll love this ebook complete with video examples called 10 melodic fingerpicking patterns you can learn in 10 minutes or less. Do you struggle to make the fingerpicking patterns you learn on guitar sound like music? Perhaps it's because you believe in one or more of these fingerpicking pattern myths. 1. You need to know a lot of patterns to have your fingerpicking sound musical. 2. Only advanced fingerpicking patterns sound musical. Easy patterns are too basic to sound any good. Or 3. There is a magic pattern out there somewhere that once found will finally have your fingerpicking sound the way you want it to. None of these myths are true. This is because fingerpicking patterns alone are not musical. They're technical. It's what you do with the patterns that will determine how musical they sound. In this ebook, you learn how to make the most boring fingerpicking patterns sound amazing instantly. Plus, the simple trick to make advanced fingerpicking patterns easier to play, and the thumb and one finger trick that's so simple and will have your fingerpicking sounding pro in no time. Click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook complete with video examples, 10 melodic fingerpicking patterns you can learn in 10 minutes or less. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. A lot of the suggestions I do get via the comments and by email do actually turn out to be videos that I create in the future. So if you want to see something, don't be shy, drop us a line in the comments below. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the all important notification bell button. That way YouTube will tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate the time you take to check out my videos. I hope they help with your playing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.